You used to have opinions, hobbies, a sense of what you wanted. Then you got into a relationship, and slowly, without noticing, you started shrinking. You stopped making plans that did not include them. You filtered what you said based on how they might react. You became whoever the relationship needed you to be. And somewhere between trying to be a good partner and trying to keep the peace, you disappeared. This is not about loving too much. This is self-abandonment, and today you are going to understand exactly why it happens and what to actually do about it. Chapter 1. Why you keep losing yourself. Here's the honest reason. At some point early in your life, you learned that expressing what you actually felt or needed created a problem. Maybe it caused conflict. Maybe the people around you pulled away. Maybe your emotions were met with silence or irritation, so your brain made a deal. It decided that keeping the connection mattered more than keeping yourself. That deal made sense then. It does not serve you now. Psychologist Diana Fosha describes authentic self-expression as a core human need, just as fundamental as connection itself. But when your brain has been trained to see those two things as opposites, as a choice between being yourself and being loved, it will choose connection every single time, and you will keep shrinking without fully understanding why. The fix does not start with being more assertive. It starts with understanding what your brain is actually protecting you from. Chapter 2. How to start coming back. The solution is simpler than most people expect, and it starts small. You do not begin by having the big, honest conversation you've been avoiding. You begin with low-stakes moments, saying you want to watch something different, admitting you're tired when you're tired, expressing a preference instead of automatically going along with theirs. These feel small, but to your nervous system, they're enormous. Each time you express something honest and the relationship survives it, your brain updates its prediction. It starts to learn that self-expression does not automatically end in rejection. That's not a mindset shift. That's a neurological one. You're giving your brain new evidence to work with. Psychologist Les Greenberg, who studies how people process emotion in relationships, found that most people suppress honest impulses before they even reach the surface. There's a moment, a fraction of a second, where you feel something real and then immediately override it. Your first job is simply to start noticing that moment, not to force yourself to speak every time, just to catch yourself in the act of going quiet. That awareness alone begins to change the pattern. Chapter 3. What is happening in your brain? Here is the science behind why this feels so hard. Your brain has a system that constantly monitors whether you are accepted or at risk of being rejected in your relationships. Psychologist Mark Leary, who developed this concept, calls it the sociometer. In people who grew up with inconsistent or conditional love, this system becomes hypersensitive. It is always running in the background, scanning for signs that you are too much, not enough, or about to be left. When that system detects even the hint of a threat, it sends a correction signal. Soften what you just said, drop the boundary, agree. And it does this before you are even consciously aware of it. You do not decide to abandon yourself. Your brain does it automatically because it has learned that being fully yourself carries relational risk. This is why simply telling yourself to speak up does not work. The override happens faster than the instruction reaches it. Chapter 4. The deeper layer. There is one more thing worth naming. Self-abandonment is not only about fear of rejection, it is also about fear of being truly seen. If you show someone who you actually are and they still leave, that pain is much harder to recover from than if they leave a version of you that was never real. Staying hidden feels like protection, but it is also what keeps you feeling alone inside every relationship you enter, no matter how long you stay. Psychiatrist Judith Herman, whose research focuses on how people adapt to chronic relational stress, found that people who grew up in unpredictable environments learned to manage others' emotional states as a survival strategy.
Your attention goes outward. Your sense of self goes quiet, not because you don't have one, but because focusing on yourself started to feel like a luxury you couldn't afford. Recognizing that is not a small thing. It's the beginning of reversing it. You did not lose yourself because you loved too much. You lost yourself because somewhere along the way, you were taught that being fully yourself was a risk the relationship might not survive. That was not true then, and the relationship you are in right now deserves the chance to prove it's not true now either. Showing up as yourself is not the thing that will end your relationships. It's the only thing that makes them real. Here's your challenge. Within the next 24 hours, express one honest preference you would normally suppress. It doesn't need to be significant, it just needs to be true. Notice what your nervous system does in the moment after. That response is the data you're working with. If this reached something you've been carrying quietly, subscribe. The next video continues the work.